Hey guys, welcome to Fearless Cooking. I wanted to do today. What we're doing is we're doing root vegetables and we're doing artichokes. And what I wanted to do, obviously, with a class called Fearless Cooking, these things scare the hell out of a lot of people, right? They're pointy on the end. They've got this fuzzy stuff, and there's all this. There's, I don't know if it's truth or wives' tale that, if you eat that stuff, you'll choke on it and die. And for the longest time, the only way I wanted to eat an artichoke is if somebody else did it. And it's funny, I've talked here before about how food evokes certain things for people. And I was mentioning to Jude that artichokes to me fall in the category almost of like quail, to where you put more calories into preparing it than you do from eating it. And she said, oh man, she goes, I love artichokes. I'm like, wow, okay, why? She goes, because we did that when I was a kid. When I grew up in California, there were abundant artichokes out there, and that was something that she really enjoyed, that whole process. So what I realized is I needed to kind of get over my thing with artichokes, so we needed to become friends. So this is part of that kind of overcoming that piece. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to roast the artichokes and a bunch of root vegetables, because I am a unabashed fan of vegetables, right? I think that they need to be a big part of every meal. I'm by no means a vegetarian. I love animal protein, but I think the two have to go together. And we're doing, these are actually rutabagas. I've peeled these. We've got beets that we're going to do. These are the red ones. I've got some golden ones here. I'm actually experimenting with these. I've peeled the red ones because they were looking kind of gnarly. I didn't peel the yellow ones, and I'm just going to see, okay, how's that work, and I've got some fairly small carrots. We're going to do some shallots. And then Central Market had these little purple potatoes, and some purple potatoes just have a purple exterior. These have this incredible purple interior. What else? That's kind of what's going in here. So we're going to roast those on one tray. We're going to prepare the artichoke and roast it and put it on the other tray. I've got the oven heating to 400. It'll probably be about 30 minutes. And we'll go ahead and, I'll let you guys kind of rejoin me whenever I'm pulling the stuff out of the oven. And then when I pull that out of the oven, we're also going to make an aioli, because an aioli is a great dipping sauce for the artichoke leaves. So we've made that a couple of times before. This will just be a refresher there as far as that's concerned. And you can put raw aioli in the raw garlic in the aioli. I'm finding out I like roasted garlic better. So all I did is I just took a couple of cloves of garlic, still in the skins, and just put them on the pan and just basically kind of kept flipping it until I got that color developed. And then when I get ready to use that one, I'll just smash it, get the skin off of it, and then like rough chop it and put it in with the aioli. But I'll do that when we come back again after the veggies are done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I'll just cut it off. I'm going to cut the stems off. I'm saving the beet stems because these are nice and healthy looking. So what I'm going to do later is I will saute. I'll make sure I get all the grit off of these, but I will saute these in olive oil with some shallot and maybe a little bit of garlic. So these are the stems from the red ones. So now I've got both sets of beet stems. I looked at, there were some beets that they had there that didn't have stems on them, but as I was like kind of checking because anytime I buy vegetables or fruit for that matter, I want to know, is it kind of peak freshness? And these beets that they had there, they were already getting a little bit soft, which to me says, hey, they've been sitting around too long. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut the top off here, and then I'm just going to cut it. We'll just cut it in slices.
You're keeping the bottom though on.
Yeah, I'm going to cut the little tail off. Just because what will happen is it's going to get so overdone compared to everything else. Because one of the things, you want stuff to kind of have even like kind of cooking. So, and I'll tell you what I'll do too is I'm going to grab. Let's do it this way. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of olive oil. Perfect. All right. So much for complete soup. Mise en place. All right, that goes in there, and then let's do this other one. And the reason I've got the gloves on, I was reading something earlier that said that the juice off of an artichoke can end up making other food. The juice from a raw artichoke can make other food taste bitter. So I don't know if there's anything to that or not, but I figured, well, since I'm going to be handling other stuff right now, I'll just leave the gloves on, and then we'll figure that out. All right, so that's got that one done. Just cutting this one off here.
About what size?
These are probably about a ½ inch. Yeah, so that thickness. So yeah, that's probably about a ½ inch. And on ones like this, especially, screw the gloves. This is we'll just have to fade maybe better. All right. Because the one thing I don't want is I don't want something bouncing around when I'm trying to hold it and a knife. All right. So I'm just gonna split the potatoes. You can see what I mean as far as the inside of them goes. I've already washed all this stuff off.
Could you use regular potatoes?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, any
Yeah.
kind of potato.
Yeah. Part of what it's like, I know that these things have got like all kinds of phytochemicals in them. The reason that they say that blueberries are such a kind of a superfood, a lot of it comes from the chemicals that help make it purple. So it's like, yeah, if they've got it and it looks good, I usually try and grab some. And then I'm just cutting these rutabagas in half.
Makes for a very colorful.
It does,
as well.
yeah. And to me, part of it is that you eat with all your senses. It's like it's the way that it smells. In fact, I was watching, there's some new show now on Netflix that's around food science. And what they were talking about, they had this guy like taste something, and they had his nose completely blocked off, so he couldn't smell anything he was eating. And it was like real flat, hardly any dimension to it at all. The second that he had access to being able to smell, all of a sudden all the taste hit him. So, I think that all of those different things, and I also think, visually, if something looks interesting, I think it just tastes better. I know that a lot of times when you're cooking something, you can start to tell real quick, when it's getting done, sometimes you can hear it, you can hear stuff kind of starting to kind of pop and crackle, but also you definitely can smell it. You can smell the way that stuff changes the way it smells as it starts to get done.
Now you're cutting the carrot.
Yeah, I'm going to slice the carrot. And I didn't peel these. I washed them off real good. These are smaller carrots. I don't know if, I'm sure that, some people have strong opinions about that one way or the other. By all means, if you want your carrots peeled, I think you should peel them. And I just cut the tops off. And then with this one, I'm just going to, I guess I'm kind of hiding this stuff here. Let me get this out of the way so you can see. Okay. There we go. That's better. Yeah, just slice it off there, and then let's make it like this.
It's a little bit safer.
Yeah, well, it's like a moving target, which with a pretty sharp chef's knife, I don't really want to lose any of the digits that I have, plus traumatize people watching it. All right, now then, I'm going to...
Is there a rutabaga left, or you got both?
I think I got them all, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so. All right, now I'm just going to cut this in half. At least this is the shallot. I'm just cutting it in half, and then I'll just peel the skin off. Yeah. I probably could have left that on there while it roasted, but then it's just going to be complicated getting it off. So just knock that out, cut this little ends off. It's down here sometimes you can kind of see the different color there. That's gone, so set that there.
What do you, what's the temperature for the oven?
The oven I have at 400.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's do 2 more. You know, you could also have, you know, garlic in there as well. I wasn't sure about time-wise on the garlic. You know, because most of this stuff, I was going to do mushrooms, I just wasn't sure. Okay, would the time on it be the same? Let's see, there it is. This is another way to kind of get that peel off there, is to use the, kind of grab a little piece of that.
Paring knife?
Yeah. All right, I got that one, cut that little end off. Same here. Yeah, I have become a fan of shallots this last year. I never used them before, and I like the flavor. I like the size. You know, there's just kind of everything about it is attractive, because it's you know, I don't have onions kind of sitting in the fridge after I've cut into them. These are kind of a convenient serving size. So it's one of those, this is one of those pantry foods where, you know, I just always want to make sure that I have a few of them on hand. Same thing with lemons and limes.
How do you store them?
I put them in a paper sack in the pantry. And you know, if you put them in there and forget about them for too long, they'll start to get soft. So it's like, in other words, you don't want to go buy 5 pounds of shallots unless you just have something going on where you're going to be, you know, using a whole bunch of shallots. So, you know, every time I go to the grocery store, I'll pick up 2 or 3. That's kind of the way that I approach those. All right, let me clean this off real quick. And, all right, now then, let's hit these with some oil. Let's do it this way.
Using olive oil today?
Yeah, I'm using olive oil, and I really like that that olive oil from Costco. It is, you know, it's all Italian, because like, they had some that was organic, but it was sourced from a bunch of different countries, and you know, I like the kind of the quality control that the Italians do. All right, so I am going to grab another couple of gloves, just because cutting those red beets, it's like, man, I will have purple hands for a couple of days, and don't really don't need that. All right. Okay, let's do these. We'll just we won't get too ambitious with the cuts. Actually, that's the simplest way to do it. Let's do it that way. Let's go here. Because once you get it cut that way, then it's going to be a lot flatter and
cut it in half.
Yeah, exactly. Give me something flat to lay on the cutting board. All right. Looks like something got massacred on the cutting board. All right, so we've got this in here. We're just going to kind of and then I'll salt everything once we get it on here.
So just picking up a few at a time and
Yeah.
kind of getting them covered in oil.
Yeah, and then I'm just, kind of spreading them out here on the, these carrots will probably cook a lot, they may cook faster. So I'll probably check this in 25 minutes. Get some oil on my hand. Put this in here. Survey this and make sure that I haven't put any of my trimmings in here. There we go. Yeah, like that can be excluded.
Are there any particular meats that you think these roasted vegetables would be especially good with?
Man, the thing with roasted vegetables is they would be great with fish. They would really, I don't know one that they wouldn't be good with. It's like roasted vegetables and burgers don't, just like kind of not like normally come to mind, but pretty much any kind of a, with roasted or with like grilled chicken, fish, steaks. Yeah, I would be hard pressed to go, no, it wouldn't work with that. They do kind of evoke more of a winter.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I think that's from the standpoint of, okay, if you're looking at things that are seasonal, but reality is, I think you can probably grow them year round. It's just that
Depending on where you live, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, but also it's like they were kind of a food storage system. So they would grow them and then they would have them in the root cellar. So when other food wouldn't be growing, they had something to eat.
So notice you've laid some of them on top of each other. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna spread them all out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Hopefully it'll all fit on this tray.
Yeah, and if it's not, then we'll pull a couple of them off that we have, kind of redundancy on. Because I do want to get the shallots in there. And now shallots I probably could put on stuff because, basically it's just going to kind of give it that nice little, kind of shallot love. They're kind of slippery. All right, so let's see. Obviously the more space that you have, the better. So let's figure out kind of what we have overrepresented, maybe. I think what I'll do is I'll pull a few of these off, and we will do those on at another batch, because I want.
You need the other tray for the artichokes.
Yeah, I need the other tray for the artichokes, and I also don't want these so crowded that they don't, that they don't roast, that they end up steaming. So, because I want this on here. Then I'm gonna hit all this with salt, and I've got enough oil on my hands that. That's how we're getting these done. All right, let's see. We'll toss that one. Tell you what, we got lots of carrots on there. We'll pull a few carrots off. All right, so now then everything's kind of got its own real estate, so to speak. All right. Now, get rid of these and let's hit the salt. And I'll also put some pepper on them. Now I'm not going to put these in well, actually, yeah, we'll wait. I'm going to just put these over to the side because we'll prep the artichokes. Yeah. And this is like a cracked pepper. Okay, so put this over here out of the way. All right. Now then for the artichokes. Let me wipe that off. And bounce it off into the floor. Okay. So now, with the artichokes, I've already rinsed them, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to just cut the top off, like right here. And we're going to peel this stem with a peeler. We're going to scrape out we'll cut them in half. Then we're going to scrape out the kind of the thistly looking stuff. We'll also hit them with some lemon juice and some olive oil. So first I'm going to cut the tips off. And I'm using a serrated knife. Okay, and you can see that purple part. Alright, so let me show them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use kitchen shears to cut the tips off, okay? Really, these are not real. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that with these.
If they were real pointy?
If they were, then I would just cut the ends of them off. But these, there's not. I don't know if they've already. They haven't done that. But no, these are have been kind of rendered fangless. Okay. Now I'm going to cut the very end. Cut the very end of this off, and then I'm going to use a peeler. First, we'll peel these bottom leaves off. Okay, and then I'm going to use a peeler to peel, because we want to get this down to where it's smooth.
All the way down the stem you're peeling, okay.
Yeah, but I'm not, because one of the things they say is that the stem actually is a lot like the heart.
Heart, right.
Yeah.
Nice and soft. And
But we're going to roast it to get that, to make sure that that's the case. All right. So now that I'm going to cut it in half, I'm trying to eyeball it so that I'm able to get the stem in half. What do you know? All right. So now then, yeah, you can. This is that whole fibrous part here. So we use a spoon. There it is. Let's see how we do this.
You see all the furry stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can definitely see how this could be. These things are intimidating. I'm just. There we go. I've seen somebody say that you can use like a melon baller. I've seen people talk about using a ice cream scoop. But the main thing is we just want to get that furry stuff off. Okay, so that's pretty much out of there. And then talk about getting all the purple out. Let's do this. everything has been cored in essence. All right, let's do that to this one. You know, going through this, I do see why I like them so much when I get a great big jar of them at Costco. But, you know, I do think that there's a lot.
The experience of eating them.
There is.
There's something very communal about it, too.
Yeah, and I also think that there's a sense of accomplishment, you know, of like taming this furry beast, you know. Because, you know, I remember when, you know, food for me was like stuff that you got at the drive-thru, and I can look back on that now and just go, God, that was boring, you know. So it's like I like the idea of, you know, figuring out new stuff, right? So we are going to do cow tongue, guys. Speaking of figuring out new stuff, because once you have it, you're going to be like, okay, why did this get demonized for so long? I mean, it looks freaky as hell, but it tastes great. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with some lemon juice because it oxidizes quick.
Oh, even before you finish getting all the purple out?
Yeah, because the purple is like, all right, once we get it roasted,
Maybe
let's see. Let's just try this. Nah, I think this is going to require.
pouring.
Yeah. And this is one where if I was watching somebody else do this with a knife, it would make me nervous as hell. But there we go.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Gordon Ramsay has a, you know, better technique, but hey, this works. Okay, cool. Now it's done. All right. Now then, we'll hit it with lemon.
And why the lemon?
Because this stuff oxidizes, it'll turn brown.
Yeah.
So we just, you know, let's keep it looking good, and I'm going to hit it with some olive oil. Because you can already see it's starting to turn brown a little bit in there. I'll hit the olive oil as soon as yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can already see it right there.
Yeah, it is starting.
Whoops. Well, good thing that lemon is a great disinfectant and cleaner. Okay. All right, good. We got plenty of lemon on it. Now we're going to hit it with some olive oil. Let's do it over this. With a little salt real quick before we put it in there. All right, we'll check on those. I'll check on them in about 25 minutes. And then when we rejoin, we'll pull this stuff out, and then we will make the aioli. So I will see you guys. Actually, let me just get this in the oven. Perfect. See you guys in a few minutes. Ready? Hey guys, welcome back. We now have roasted vegetables. We've got artichokes. I'm going to make the aioli.
Okay. And this is for
So I'm doing the aioli. Actually, the aioli would work with either one, right? I mean, you could use aioli with this. One of the other sauces we made the other day was pesto. Pesto would work with this. Balsamic reduction is one I'm playing with. I didn't do it with this because I wasn't sure. But I just like roasted vegetables just by themselves, right? Because whenever you roast them, basically you're bringing the natural sugars out in the root vegetables, and they just taste fantastic.
The aioli is nice for the artichoke leaves to dip.
Yes, and we'll pull a couple of those off and kind of demonstrate. I'm glad that we did this thing on you guys join me after it's done, because this took about 45 minutes before these got to this level of doneness. So what I would suggest is, start checking them at 30 minutes. But there was a big difference between 35 and 45 minutes as far as the tenderness of the beets were concerned. So anyway, we're going to make the aioli. So what I've got is I've got an egg. I'm going to put that here in the blender cup. And then I'm going to put a shot of mustard in here. And this stuff always squirts when I open it. Glad I'm not doing it with a white shirt on. All right. And I just put just a squirt in there. And then I am going to put the juice of a half of a lemon. And I'm going to put a cup of oil. And what I do with the oil is I do half avocado oil and half extra virgin olive oil. So find the marker. Obviously, I'm going to go just a little above it since it's already a quarter of a cup. Okay. And then, so what you're doing with this is basically you're just making an emulsion. So the egg yolk and the mustard kind of help the liquids combine, so that you don't have this layer of oil and then this layer of everything else. All right, so let's go above the cup. Feel like a mad scientist. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and chop up the clove of garlic that I have roasted.
How did you roast it?
I just used that skillet and just, all I did was just in a dry skillet and a dry stainless steel skillet, just kept turning it until it had some good scorch marks on it, and that was it. All right, so let me get these out of the way, and I'm going to put a pinch of salt in too. Let's see, there it is. And the other thing about aioli is that you can put, kind of whatever, like you could add herbs to this. What I just want it to have some fat and some acid to go with the artichoke. All right, so let me move this out of the way so you can see. All right. Raising it up just a little bit. it's getting quite a bit thicker. There we go. Now, this doesn't look like, you know, Hellman's from a, well, actually, this is pretty close to kind of a Hellman's consistency. The thing that I like about it is it doesn't have all this, you know, kind of mystery ingredients. You know, I was always wondering, why the hell do you have EDTA? And years ago, I worked in the hospital, in the lab, and the stuff that we used to do on blood draws for CBC's, complete blood counts, the stuff was, the preservative in there was EDTA. So I'm like, all right, you know, why is that in my food? So, you know, quite a while ago, I just decided, you know, if I can make something in 2 minutes, you know, it tastes so much better than the store-bought mayonnaise. Why wouldn't I do that? All right, tell you what, rather than trying to do it in that, I'll put it here, and I'm going to grab a spatula. All right. I love that faucet. Not really, but I might as well because it's there. All right, yeah, that's nice and thick. All right. I tell you what's great with this is to get is with tuna, or you know, make a chicken salad and use that. It's just incredible. Okay, so you know, I think the secret is to pull one of these things off and dip it in there. And you know, I'm glad that you love it. It's okay.
As you get closer inside of the leaves are a little bit softer as you get closer.
But
and there's more meat on them. The outer ones don't have quite as much.
Okay, so I trust you on that. We'll you know, do some excavation on this thing. Now here, let me try a carrot. Oh yeah, wow, that is so good. Well, guys, I enjoyed cooking with you today. Please post your pictures. Let me know how you like it, and look forward to cooking with you guys again soon. Thanks a lot. Have a great one. Okay, so we're fixing artichokes a new way, right? So this way, what we're doing is we're just gonna steam them, all right? And I haven't cleaned them. The purple stuff here is the choke, right? So we're gonna peel all of that out right there, right? But I took these, dropped them in some water, squeezed a whole lemon's worth of juice in to try and keep them from oxidizing and turning brown. They're already doing a little bit of that, but they're not bad. So I'm gonna probably let them hang out in here like 15 minutes, and I'll check in a minute. Okay, so now we're checking on the artichokes again. This has been probably like 30 minutes or so. Let's just see. Yeah, these things are, see, we want the pork to go in easy. And everything's clouding up, so, which means there's lots of steam coming off. All right, we're good. So, hey, so what I would suggest is steam your artichokes or boil them, or you can steam them for like 10 minutes and then put them in the oven and roast them or cook them on the grill. But you need something to kind of help parboil them. Anyway, hey, enjoy, and look forward to cooking with you again. All right, so so Ethan's gonna cut the choke out. Here we go. All right, look at that. All right, right down along the base. All right, all that thistly stuff, it's coming out. Yeah. There's that. There's the other piece. Bingo, a chokeless artichoke. All right, enjoy your artichokes, guys.